What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Brand to Table podcast. I'm your host, Henry Kaminski Jr., your go-to for restaurant branding and marketing. And today we have a phenomenal guest. More on the brand side today. We're not going to interview a restaurateur or a chef. We have a founder of a local brand that is getting quite a bit of attention. And we interacted through one of my clients' accounts, and I said, you know what? You would be a phenomenal guest. So we're going to get to her in a second, but I want to start today. I'm trying this new sort of flow of the show, and I want to start every show with a quick win, whether it be a marketing win or a branding win or an experience that, came about recently that I think you're going to benefit from. And one of the things that a lot of my clients are gunning for, and I tell them that you got to watch what you wish for here, but it's more followers on social media, right? Everybody thinks that followership equates to more money, and it doesn't. And that's a whole nother episode, and you heard me talk about it before. But followership, yes, it's important. You do want to grow steadily on your social media platforms because you start to broaden your audience. You start to grow your audience, and there's many different ways to skin this cat. And one of the outside of the box ways that I've been playing with clients is through OpenTable or any of the reservation platforms that you guys use to book reservations. I'm a huge fan of OpenTable. Why? Because there's a lot of marketing features in it, and there's a lot of ways you can leverage those marketing features to generate more revenue, and it's all trackable, right? I'm all about tracking results. So here's one. So every time a diner guests with you, you can set up a after dinner or after lunch or after meal survey that goes out however quickly you want it to go out. It could go out an hour after they dine with you, 2 hours, 24 hours, whatever. And in that survey, they have a series of questions they can ask. And OpenTable sets you up by default with some decent questions, but you can add some questions that are very quick and very easy for the diner to answer. So one of the things I started to do was editing that survey. And one of the questions that I slid in there is, are you following us on social media yet? At the restaurant's handle. Yes, I'm already following. Or no, not yet, but I'm going to do that right now, ! And it's just a button that they click. It's one or the other. We started doing this about a month ago, and I started to notice a lot more followers coming into a specific account that we manage. And I said to myself, this is exactly the purpose of putting this survey question in. Because I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of people don't realize that if you just ask somebody to follow you, they'll do it. And there's not a lot of asking out there. There's a lot of assuming and expecting. And this is just a quick little thing. It takes you 5 seconds. Or if you have somebody like me that's managing your social media and managing your OpenTable, we could do this for you. So just a quick little tip there. It's going to help drive that attention that's already been in your dining room to your social media, and you could start to build your followership through that little simple tip. All right, guys, I want to get into today's episode. This woman, remember I told you, I wanted more female representation on the show. And when I ask for shit, I usually get it. So without further ado, I want to introduce Jen Hardell from Suburban Life Bourbon to the show. What's going on?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
This is your first in-person podcast?
It is.
Oh, I love it.
You're my first, Henry.
Well, if I had $1 for everybody that said that. Oh, my goodness. So you are Jersey born. It's a Jersey founded brand. I want to hear from you sort of the founder's story of how Suburban Life came to life.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to tell it. So Suburban Life came to life, I guess you would say, about a little over a year ago.
Okay.
I come from the operations side of things, cosmetic side of the business for about 28 years, running ops for cosmetics. Separately, I'm a big bourbon enthusiast, right?
Okay.
So I understand how to take a product from, formulation to shelf. What I'm doing now is I'm bringing that skill set into a whole different category, into the alcohol business. Being a big bourbon enthusiast, life-changing, getting married, living suburban life, if you will, nighttime kind of moved to daytime. And what I started to notice was in my own backyard, at the pool, at the beach, at sporting events, bourbon wasn't being represented on kind of the same playing field that I saw vodka or tequila being represented, and especially vodka with, the handful of RTDs that, we're very familiar with that are out there. So, seeing that bourbon wasn't being represented in that more playful, fun, lighter, sessionable approach, I saw a white space in the market, and I created Suburban Life, which is a crushable daytime bourbon cocktail.
Give me the moment when you were in your backyard, because I want to hear that story, because I didn't hear it. I just heard about it.
Okay.
And I want you to take us there.
Yeah. So, spending a lot of time in the backyard, like I'm sure a lot of other suburban people are, just, having fun, chilling, hanging out, having barbecues, friends over, friends, family. And that's, really where, I was switching from having my bourbon neat at 12 o'clock, because you can't really be a good parent at a bourbon neat at 12 o'clock in your backyard. So, moving to those cans, people bringing them over, seeing what my cooler was being filled with, which again, were a lot of vodka, RTDs, and also mostly carbonated. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go make my own batch of a bourbon cocktail in the kitchen. I started playing around with, some different recipes, and I developed our first formula to be now, which is the bourbon pink lemonade touch of mint, no bubbles. So I was making big batches of that, bringing it out into the backyard, not really telling anyone what was in it, just putting it out there. And what I started to notice was that, everyone who was bringing over these cans and putting them into the cooler, there were a lot of cans left at the end of the party. What I was seeing was that my pitcher of Suburban, which is to now be Suburban Life, was empty. And it was really, I was kind of doing this quiet, private research without anybody knowing. And what was really surprising to me was, obviously the bourbon guys were loving it, right? Because they were like, oh, this is really good. And I would tell them, I said, well, it's a bourbon pink lemonade. They were very excited. But what was surprising to me is I was bringing people into this new drink that normally would never touch brown liquor. A lot of women, a lot of, the younger generation that were in their late 20s, they were loving it. And then I would tell them that there's bourbon in it, and it would blow their minds. They're like, I can't believe this is bourbon. This is so light. This is refreshing. I could drink this. So that really excited me. I was like, well, not only can we give bourbon drinkers their own sessionable RTD, I can bring more people into a category that may have been notoriously scared of it. So that's where I had that idea of, I'm going to take this pink lemonade, I'm going to put it in a can, and I'm going to put it out to market.
So why did bourbon feel like the drink of choice worth reinventing?
Well, for a few reasons. One, I love bourbon.
You're a big fan.
I'm a big fan. Number two is I like to be a little disruptive. I like to create something new, right? That's not been done before. So seeing, not only putting bourbon as a refreshing RTD, I noticed that bourbon was still very much marketed towards the original, beginning of time of who bourbon was being pitched to, right? The old boys club, very dark, heavy, nighttime marketing, black. If there were any whiskey cans out there, it's black cans, gold writing, carbonated, ginger ales, cranberries, old fashions, new fashions. It seemed that even if they were trying to bring it to a new category, it was still very much the same old story. Nothing has changed there.
let me ask you this. When you were doing your beta testing, if you will,
Yeah.
when did you say, okay, because there's the difference between, okay, I got a cool recipe, because a lot of my buddies have cool drink recipes, right? But they're not saying, I'm going to go create a multi-million-dollar brand out of it. They're like this little best kept secret in their backyard. It never sees the light of day, other than the people that invite them, the people that they invite over. So when did you say, okay, I have enough proof of concept, I'm going to take this to the next level? Like, I kind of want to hear that moment in time.
It went fast. From concept to on shelf with our first SKU, I did it in 6 months. Which, whenever I say that to anyone, they lose their minds.
That's so fast.
Apparently, it takes years to do that. I don't know. So I'm a fast mover. I think I knew that this could become more than a one flavor local wonder when I started to see the market response. Now we've taken it from the backyard. It's in a can. I'm going out there myself to get this out there. In the beginning, I'm knocking on liquor store doors, getting it in one after another. And they were really excited for something different, a bourbon RTD, which they haven't had before.
For the audience that doesn't know what an RTD is.
As a ready to drink cocktail.
Perfect.
So when I saw that, it was doing really well, and then, I got the attention of, a larger distributor, got picked up. Total Wines, which is a national chain, decided to carry the brand as well. I'm like, wait a minute, I have something here. How do we now take this disruptive new drink and expand the line? And that's where I started to think about what my next formulas were going to be. And the reason I picked these formulas to be are for a very specific reason.
Oh, so we got to get into those in a second.
We do.
What's been super hard about building this brand that people don't realize? Because this is a big lift.
It is a big lift. With this brand in particular, right? I think everybody has their challenges for whatever you're trying to bring to market, because I think consumer products goods it's a heavy area. There's a lot of people, a lot of smart people out there who have great ideas. And unfortunately, sometimes even if it's a great idea, maybe it doesn't go far, right? Because they didn't have the right, funding, or they didn't know the right route to market. So there's a lot of good ideas that kind of fall through, and we don't get to see it come by. I think building a brand is hard for many reasons. For Suburban in particular, I'm doing something different in the bourbon category and the alcohol category itself, right? So I'm taking bourbon and I gave it a makeover. It's a new lane that doesn't exist. So whenever you do anything that's new, it takes a little education. You run uphill a little bit. But it's also what could also become a movement and go farther, because it's not here right now. So explaining to people what this drink is different. They're used to seeing the same type of cocktail in vodka or tequila. So convincing them that bourbon can do the same exact thing and introduce a new spirit, you run uphill a little bit. But then once I get somebody in there and they taste the drink, then they understand.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's the hardest part.
So I want to talk about running uphill, because I've been running uphill for the last 16 years in my business. It feels like, I have my moments of grace, but what do you say? Because this is a hot topic today.
Yeah.
And I've heard it on a lot of podcasts, and I have to bring it up because I want to get your take on it. I think it's over 53% of the younger generation is not drinking alcohol anymore. And they're going to different sources of highs. Well, whether it's weed, whether it's, whatever it is. How does Suburban Life combat that? Because it's a real thing, let's face it. But it sounds to me that you're going after a younger crowd. You're going after a more lively crowd. And there's that big elephant in the room. I'm sure you've had people come up to you and say, Jen, you must be crazy. Like, liquor sales are down by almost half.
Mhm.
What are you doing coming out with this brand? So I kind of want to hear your take on that. And why do you think the younger generation isn't drinking as much as we did?
Yeah. Well, I think it's for a few reasons. And I don't know if they're not drinking as much as we did. I think they're drinking differently. I think that their approach is different, right? Where we just, search and grabbed anything we could find in our parents' liquor cabinet, right? And it didn't matter if it was light or fluid. They think about things. They think about their body more. They like a story. They like things to make sense and fit into their lifestyle, right? So they're looking for natural ingredients. They're looking for clean ingredients. They're looking for something also that, makes sense. And they don't have to put a lot of effort in, right? So these pre-made cocktails have come a long way, right? They went from malt liquors and being carbonated to now there's more premium ingredients that you're going to find in these drinks. And I think that's exciting to them, the ease and convenience of having a higher quality ingredient in that quick grab. I also think that, like you said, it's, as cannabis and different sorts of elements come into consumer products now, they're looking for a balanced approach, right? So maybe if they're dabbling in cannabis, then these RTDs are a perfect choice for them because they're having a controlled ABV. They know what they're getting in their drink. You walk into a bartender, you may get one shot in your glass, you may get a half a shot, you may get 3 shots, and you can't control your buzz. You can't control your ABV. So I think this is what's exciting to them as well, is that they know that if they pair this with a gummy or a joint or whatever it is, they know exactly how to control their alcohol intake. So where the alcohol industry may be going down, I think it's just readjusting. I think it's readjusting to the way that drinkers' mindset is changing, and they want to control their ABV. So where alcohol may be down, canned cocktails are up. RTDs are skyrocketing. They are up higher than they've ever been before, and they're only growing, and they're projected to triple what they are now by 2028. So I think it's that controlled approach that the younger generation is really embracing.
Yeah, and I think they're a lot more educated,
very much so,
right, on what they're putting in our they're putting in their bodies, and it makes sense. It does. So one of my past guests, Large from a Barstool Sports, was on, and I asked him the same question, and he said, "Well, they're getting outpriced. Mm-hmm. These kids are just getting outpriced. They can't go out without spending $300, for a round. Mm-hmm. It's crazy." Did you consider price point when you were putting this brand together a major factor, or you just said, "This is what we're going with, and that's it"? So how much price sensitivity did you put together when you were putting together the brand?
Yeah, I had to think about that, but I also did not want to compromise the drink itself, right? So it's that fine balance. Yeah. I mean, I have a 6-year barrel-aged bourbon that's in the RTD and the canned cocktail. And, I don't know if my finance team's very happy with that, but but being a bourbon lover, I wanted to put premium ingredients.
Yeah, you're not skimping.
I'm not skimping. It's natural. It's all clean. There's no processed sweeteners in this. So to have an elevated drink, you have to spend a little bit of money, but I also have to be conscious of just what you said. Like, people don't want to come in if you're looking for, what works in your budget. You can't be spending a lot of money on your price point. So I made sure to finally balance that between delivering a premium drink and then also making sure that it fits into the budget of the consumer.
So we've had side conversations before the show, right? Mm-hmm. We were working on menus together and a couple different things. And you were heavy. You were big. I felt it through the text messages. You were big on the zero bubbles.
Yes.
And I wanted you to talk about that on the show today because I said, man, she's really leaning into the zero bubbles thing. I want our audience to understand why that's so important to her and to the brand itself.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, it's important to me, right? I created a formula that I like and that I want to drink. And carbonation is difficult. I feel like if I have it's not that it's a bad drink. If I have a carbonated drink, it could be delicious, but I'm pretty much limited to one. I can't do the 2 or the 3 because it starts to bother me. I also noticed that seems to be that's the trend with the rest of the drinking society as well, right? It seemed like not only myself, I noticed a lot of other people moving away from the carbonation. And I think that's kind of like where canned cocktails started. They were all carbonated.
Yeah.
And then the industry started to shift, right? And you saw these non-carbonated vodka drinks, iced teas, and lemonades coming into the market, which we all know who they are. And they did really well, which showed that the trend is changing, right? And again, that goes back to the body conscious consumer starting to notice and listen to their body that why do I feel not so great after I'm drinking 4 or 5 carbonated drinks? So it kind of falls in line with that, a little bit of the branding into Suburban, this crushable, sessionable drink where you can have a few of them and now all of a sudden you don't have that
You don't feel like a hot air balloon?
You don't feel like a hot air balloon. You don't feel full. You have room to maybe consume, something else.
Yeah. You put that on my radar because I know subconsciously I was drinking carbonated drinks and I was like, why do I feel like hell after this, right? And then when we started chatting, I'm like, the zero bubbles is a big deal. I'm like, so I start hitting the bourbon a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't feel like I have to walk out of a room sideways. And I think that is a big shift, like you were saying. So
it's a huge shift in the industry.
Yeah. So I didn't realize it until you sort of brought it up to me in conversation. I was like, wow, this is something. And, it could be, people could have been thought about that for years. And it just hit me. I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm going to go zero bubbles moving forward because I just feel better after the session, after the,
you don't feel so bloated.
Yeah, that's it.
And people are looking for it. And in a busy menu or a busy marketplace or at a venue, sometimes you just need that quick hit, right?
Yeah.
Like your brain's moving everywhere. So that's why I was kind of persistent about let's make sure we have on there zero bubbles because that's a main component that I feel like consumers want to see right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then they'll give it a chance.
I want to go back to you sort of making your own luck in this space. And I don't want to glaze over the fact that you are knocking on liquor store doors.
Well, not anymore.
Right. But you were rolling up your sleeves and making shit happen. And I want to talk about that. And I want to share with the audience how important that is to me because that's how I started, and it was like, nobody was just going to hand you a business that was going to make you multi-millions and like, good luck with it. It's like, you have to earn every little bit. So I kind of want to ask you when you went into the liquor stores for the first time, right? What was your pitch?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a salesperson. Right? Like that.
You don't strike me as the sharky.
I've never done sales in my life. Right? Like I come from the operations background.
Right.
I'm behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who was ever in front. So I think that was probably my biggest challenge. And I remember the first store that I pulled up to, and it was the local store that's not far from my house that I had a relationship with. And I remember that moment, like getting out of the car, and it was scary. It's scary as hell.
I bet.
And I'm like, you know what? But I also had this passion knowing that I just needed to start talking about this. And this was going to be my first door that I walked in. And I walked in and I felt this natural ease of selling the product. I think just because I'm so passionate about it and I believe in it. And I think that from the first door I sold it into, I saw the end of this. I think, and seeing the way the end of this plays out in my mind made it much easier for me to have that first conversation, because I think that I knew it was past the few doors that I was going to open up. I knew that the market is really going to enjoy this if I could just get it out there.
Yeah. Talk to me about the day the distributor accepted the
Yeah.
partnership? I kind of want to hear that conversation.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. You know,
I bet.
they're like, "Who's this chick knocking on doors out there?" You know,
Was it fate? I got to hear the story. Tell the story.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I had my car filled. I produced the pink lemonade first, and I had my Ram filled up with it. I was driving from store to store, going in, talking to these buyers and these liquor store owners. And they were loving it. They were tasting it. They're like, this is different. Like, we'll definitely carry this. So I'm going through, making my list. And, a large New Jersey distributor within 6 months knocked on my door and said, you're disrupting out there. What are you doing? You're making a lot of noise.
Okay.
Would you like to come down and sit with us and talk to us about, Suburban and what your future plans are? And I was like, I would.
So it sounded like you were building ambassadors through the liquor stores.
Yeah, I was showing it to them because it's hard to go into a large distributor carrying multiple brands. They don't have a lot of space for newness, right?
Yeah.
So you need to kind of prove to them first that you have something, not just, hey, I've developed this, like, will you go out and sell it?
Right.
Now I'm giving you a list of, 100 to 150 stores that loved it and want to take it in. And that so I had to prove my first, proof of concept to them.
Right.
Not just, hey, here, you go figure it out.
Right.
And I think that's the most challenging part. That's where you have to roll up your sleeves if you're going to develop something, especially alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get out there and almost prove it yourself if you're doing something new. And then once you do that, it starts to fall in line.
I love your tenacity.
Oh, thank you.
I do. I really do, because it's very hard. I don't consider myself a salesperson, and people say, well, you're quite a salesperson when you put the hat on. And I'm like, I don't feel it. I just do it. And it just kind of comes out really natural, and you're either going to love me or hate me, but there's something about that. There's tenacity, and I don't feel like a lot of people have that these days. It's like a dying breed. I mean, I see it with my own son. He's very timid, and he comes from a family who's very loud, very loud and outspoken. And, I'm explaining this to him, not to go off in like parenting here, but like I explained to him, one of the best things about you is how you make people feel and how they feel when they're talking to you. And I make that a point to him, and I feel like he's 8. Is that registering right now? Probably not. Not the way I want it to.
I think it is.
But I mean, and he's got his personality is so funny, but he's like very timid. And I'm saying, like, this ain't going to serve him well as he gets older. Like, he's going to have to get out there, and like, he's probably going to have to learn the hard way, like we all did a couple times. But the fact that you just get out there and you do it, and you get, I'm sure you had no's. I'm sure you had some no's.
Of course.
You just kept, okay, we're on to the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, listen, about halfway through the show, I've been steering the ship. I'm giving the wheel to you now. I want to try. This is the first time we're ever doing this on the show, so could get messy. We could get a little tipsy. Who the hell knows here? But I want to try a sample of each flavor here and see what you got going on here. Because first of all, I'm a big branding guy, so I was obsessed with your branding the minute I saw it, from the color scheme to the font selection to the imagery you use and the textures you use. I was like, this girl knows what she's doing on the branding side. So walk me through, where do you want to start? We got 5 and I'm not drinking alone here, so we got, you got to help me out. But I'm gonna pass the show over to you, and you're going to do a little tasting for me.
Great. Well, we're gonna go through from the order of, I almost feel like just like when you watch Star Wars, do you start in the order that movies were released, or do you start in timeline?
Right.
We're gonna start in the order that they were released.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with the original.
So this is the OG.
This is the OG. This is the pink lemonade. This is why Suburban Life exists today. This was my proof of concept.
Okay.
So
all right, let's try it.
Let's open it up.
All right.
And each flavor has a touch of, right? So this is bourbon, pink lemonade, and a touch of mint.
Oh, I can smell it.
Yeah.
Wow.
The combination is It's pretty hot.
It's got a really nice smell to it.
Super smooth, clean, all natural ingredients, gluten-free. Good bourbon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Wow. It's got a nice little touch to it. It's got a really nice little touch to it. It's not overbearing. It's smooth. I can see how now I know why you use crushable in
Everybody asked that question.
In the way you explained it. Because I can do a quesadilla real easy.
Right.
Holy.
Now, normally when you have bourbon, would you just drink it as fast as you did?
No, I mean, I took it as a shot for Christ's sake. Because
Right.
I felt it first. I'm like, oh no, we're going all the way.
Because it's a different approach to bourbon.
Yeah.
This is the gateway in. This is the sessionable, light, crushable, because you can drink a bunch of them version. All right. So that's the pink lemonade, which is, it's hard for me to say that the original's not my baby, but
sure.
Let's move on. So now the next two flavors we released are the bourbon margarita, which kind of throws everybody for a loop. Because when you think of a margarita, what do you think of?
Tequila.
Right. Not anymore.
I love it.
I'll let you.
Okay.
So now we have bourbon and a lime based.
Okay.
Touch of citrus.
Okay.
So you went from a lemon based. Now we're doing the bourbon margarita. Or you can call it a Kentucky margarita, if you will.
Okay. For you.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. The shot glasses even are branded. I can't stand you. I love you. All right. Salud.
Cheers. Salud.
Okay.
Is this your first bourbon margarita?
Yes. That one's got a little spice to it.
Well, it has a little smoke to it.
He's got a little smoke and spice to it for sure. For sure. Yes. You know what it is? It, like you said, touches. I think that's what you used the word before, touches. It's not overbearing because you're staying true to the bourbon, right? You're really staying true to the foundational ingredient, and you're bringing in these little subtle touches. And again, it's very refreshing. I'm picturing myself on my deck in my backyard facing the lake on an 80-degree day.
Exactly.
And these just going down one after the other. I mean, wow.
They can get, they're.
And it's 5% ABV.
5% ABV.
So it's not gonna knock you on your ass, but it's not a Miller Lite either.
It's like having, a beer, but with a little kick.
Yeah. With a little swag to it.
Exactly. All right. So now we're going to move into the bourbon half and half, which, these half and half formulas with vodka out there are pretty popular.
Yeah.
So what I did is I used the black tea because I felt like black tea was compatible with bourbon. Then we have the lemonade, and this has a touch of honey.
Ooh, I like honey. I like honey on anything.
Yeah.
I'll put honey on.
Also, too, these flavor profiles of the margarita, the iced tea, we'll get into the other ones in a minute, the pina colada and the espresso. They're flavor profiles that everybody's very familiar with, right? So when you're bringing something new to the market where people aren't used to bourbon canned cocktails, that's a lot of the reason I started to bourbonize traditional cocktails, is to bring in that familiarness to them.
So you don't have to overeducate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not as afraid.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. I haven't had, and I would tell you if I didn't like one over the other, but I'm telling you, this one might be my favorite so far, believe it or not. I don't know why. And it's so we would call this one like what do we call this one? Like the most popular, if you will, or the most trending
formula. Yeah. For that iced tea, the half and half that's out there, iced tea lemonade. Guys love this one. And sometimes I wonder, I'm like, is it because it's a blue can or do guys really lean towards iced tea? I don't know.
Yeah. I maybe it's because I'm a big iced tea fan, especially like in the summer, unsweetened. And it brings me back to that, I think, maybe.
And this is kind of an unsweetened approach to it.
Yeah.
You're using the sweetness of the bourbon to really bring that profile together.
It's, I'm thinking about this. I'm saying, this is ballsy. It really is, because bourbon is such a OG on the shelf, right?
Yep.
Bourbon and Scotch would be, or I consider those two like the OGs of the shelf. And it takes balls to take the OG off the shelf and be like, we're going to make it more, young, and you're doing it. And I love how you're doing it, because it's not because I like it. Because I notice a lot of people when they start businesses, they're like, I'm doing it because, especially in the restaurant business, I'm making this dish because I love it. Well, how many do you sell a week? 4.
Yeah.
Why is it still on the menu?
Right.
You're doing it because not only do you love bourbon, you said that already, but I feel like you could have came up with some really obscure flavors. You could have, because you're seasoned in the space. No, you said, I'm going to go with what everybody knows, because it's not about me drinking a drink. It's about the community, the people drinking the drink. And I want to get into that after we have our little tasting about bringing in community, because I see what you're doing. I saw some of the branding assets you shared with me a couple weeks ago, and I was like, this is so far from your typical bourbon ad, right? And I thought it was impressive. It was impressive. All right, I'm going to shut up, because we got 2 more to go. She's like, yeah, thank you. Just shut up already.
No. I'm like, I'm trying to have a drink here, Henry. Come on.
You're talking too much.
So,
all right.
I'm not going to lie.
Pina colada.
This is insane.
Okay.
I'm going to let you pour it.
All right.
But I'm just going to say that, the pink is the OG. It's like your firstborn. You're always going to have a special love for it, right? So when people say to me now, what's your favorite out of the line? I'm like, well, like I will say the OG is the OG, but this is seriously taking over my life. So this is a bourbon pina colada. And what's different about this, it's like a skinny pina.
Okay.
So instead of coconut cream, we went with coconut water. Oh. So you have coconut water, pineapple juice, touch of banana, and bourbon.
I like that.
So we have a lot of things hitting at once here.
I'm a big coconut water fan. I am.
So it's super refreshing. You smell the banana coming off the top.
Dude.
How many are these going down?
Oh, forget it. I got to bring my truck the next time I see you, because we're loading up on that stuff. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Another thing I don't like about RTDs, I learned something new, by the way. I didn't know what an RTD was. I made believe like the audience didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. But I think I found I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. The RTDs that I've had in the past, they have a really strong like aftertaste. Like it's kind of like sits you down, right? Yeah. And it's like overpowering. This is not that way.
Do you want me to tell you why?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're tasting on a lot of those drinks are the processed sweetener, right? So where everybody is very heavy focus, where they should, again, it's going back to calories and, carbs and all of that. So for a lot of drinks, especially vodka, right, to get it to 100 calories, 150 calories, that low category that everybody's looking to, vodka's bland. So in order to get that with the taste, when you're tasting those drinks, which have a delicious taste, it's that aftertaste that hits you a little bit. Those are the processed sweeteners, right? To get vodka to 100, 120 calories, 150 calories, they have to put processed sweeteners in there in order to get that flavor up. It's that processed sweetener that's the aftertaste. With Suburban, there's no processed sweeteners, because bourbon has a natural sweetness to itself. That's the advantage of the brown spirit coming into this flavor profile. It's because of that natural sweetness that bourbon brings in. and I mix it with the fresh juices and the touch of the natural flavor, I have a natural sweetness. So I can be right there at that 120 calorie category without putting the chemical in. So you're never going to have that aftertaste.
What's the average caloric intake for these?
About 120.
On 120. Okay. Yeah. That's
without a sweetener.
Right. Without a sweetener. Wow. Yep. Now I know why this is consuming your life, because it's about to consume mine.
Yeah.
But that pina colada stuff.
It's dangerous.
Woo. That one. All right. I take it back. It's no longer the half and half.
But it's the OG,
Yeah. There's no way. There's no way I like the half and half over this.
Yeah.
That one hits. That one definitely hits.
I think this summer it's going to be killer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So I like to save this one for the last.
Last but not least here.
Because it's the Suburban Espresso, right? So Suburban Espresso Martini. This is a touch of caramel.
Okay.
When you're drinking this, now obviously espresso martinis are the jam right now, right? They're on fire.
Yep.
Mostly, again, they're vodka, but this is bourbon based. There are suburban ones out there, but remember what we're doing here. We're taking a formula that's notoriously known for nighttime, and we're going to put it in the same light, refreshing profile. So now you're taking a bourbon espresso martini, and you're making it light and refreshing for like an iced coffee feeling.
Yeah.
Not that heavy after dinner drink.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Okay. It reminds me of something, and I don't want to waste the rest of the episode trying to think about what that was, because clearly my memory is not working today. But I'm telling you, this one.
Would you target golden hour for this? This is your 3-4 p.m., right? You're moving out of this lane.
Correct.
You're moving out of the pina coladas, the iced teas. Now you have to transition into your nighttime drinking.
Yeah.
This has the equivalent of a shot of espresso in it.
Okay.
So you're at like 70 milligrams of caffeine.
Okay.
Taking you through that 3-4 o'clock, moving into your nighttime drink.
Right.
I'm trying to get everybody from 12 noon to 7 p.m.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a good job, because you definitely got it. You got it laid out here beautifully. I got to tell you, I was not expecting this. I wasn't, because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't drink out of the can a lot. And I was like, oh, we'll see what happens. Maybe I got to pretend to like this shit. Like, it is, right?
Yeah.
This stuff is legit, and there's a lot. So you're in one of my accounts that I do a lot of marketing with, Capital Craft. And we spotlight you guys on Wednesdays. We have a great trivia there. And, it's $5 cans on Wednesdays. Guys, if you're in the northern New Jersey area, Greenbrook, New Jersey, or East Hanover, head over to Capital Craft on Wednesdays. Their freaking trivia nights are killer. And you could get these for $5 a piece. I'm telling you, you have to try them, because, but I'm not going to lie. When I'm talking with the staff and the managers, I'm like, listen, their Suburban Life is sponsoring the night per se, right? Mm-hmm. We have to push these things, and we have to get people excited. So we have to get our staff, with discretion, of course, like educated on this product, because it's a really good product. But if they just are overlooking it and its quality, we're never going to sell them. Like, bottom line. So you have to. My point is, this is a product that stands up for itself. It does. It is very good. It is very good. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a can guy. I said it, but I'm going to hunt these down in Sparta somewhere and get, because we do a lot of parties in the backyard in the summer.
Yeah.
And
we're in a few shops in Sparta.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So we got Liquor Factory. We got Sparta. We got the ShopRite Liquor. I don't know if you're in there.
We are.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So I don't have to go too far then. But that shit's slamming. I'm not going to lie.
Much.
Wow. I mean, I could pound all of them, but we're not because it's 10:30 in the morning.
Well, we'll wait till the camera goes off.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to run out of time. I have some rapid fire questions here that I want to.
I'm glad I had the bourbon first.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Because now I'm ready.
Yeah, this is going to be good. Biggest myth about bourbon?
That it's not for you.
Right. That is for old people.
It's for old people. It's for men. And it's exclusive.
I like that. One word that defines suburban life.
Fun.
Most underrated trait. We didn't really talk about this too much, but what's one underrated trait as a founder of a liquor brand?
You're really going to tap into my personalness. Underrated trait of a founder?
Yeah.
I think maybe it's their quietness. You know, if you see a founder quiet, you may assume that they're not confident. A lot of times we're sitting back and we're taking in the reactions of the community around us, right? Because we're putting our baby out there. So we're constantly taking in the input around us.
I like that. I like that a lot. Most overrated business advice you ever got?
It always comes from the people who don't have a business. You know, people who don't have a business or ever tried to go out there and do something that's really, really hard. Yeah. They always have a lot of advice.
They do.
So my biggest advice is don't listen to anyone who's never started a business on advice for running a business.
That's great. No, that's great. One of the things I want to highlight, a little burp there, sorry. One of the things I want to highlight is your ops background. Yeah. When I was doing my homework on you, one of the things that kept popping up is that you have a very strong ops background. And I think that serves you very, very well, especially trying to birth a brand like this, because people want to know the ins and outs and they need process. They need systems. There's a lot of education here. And a lot of times, like a lot of brands that I used to work with in the past, if they had to do a lot of education, it was too expensive. And we'll figure something else out. I'm not going down that route.
Yeah.
But you're like, nope, I can do this.
I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
So also, like, I grew up in a warehouse environment, right? So I grew up with, you know, a family who was running a cosmetic company, right? And I grew up right out of college. I was working in the warehouse. I was driving the forklift. I was answering the phone. I was placing orders for raw materials, right? And I kind of grew through the operational background over 28 years, you know, moving on to my family's company and to a lot of other businesses and running multi-million-dollar cosmetic brands for other people. So I did a lot of absorbing and went from that forklift driver to the VP of operations, right? So handling, you know, everything from soup to nuts. So I really got a full understanding of kind of what worked and what didn't work. But it was really hard. So I think that when I have this like creative side of me that
I could tell
kind of always sat dormant, right? Because I have to have an operational mind. I'm overseeing 5,000 moving parts at all times. I don't have time to be creative. So I think that's also why I'm so passionate about this launch of something myself. Is because I'm taking my skill set, which a lot of people maybe have great ideas, but then they're like, all right, now what do I do? Right? Like you now have to work with co-packers and manufacturers. You have to formulate. You have so much to do. So I was getting to take that creative side that I had and developing the brand and the name and the packaging. I was like, oh my God, this makes me feel alive inside, this creative part. I'm like, I just found who I am, you know, at 52 years old. I just found what makes me thrive. Yeah. But now, hey, look, I must have been on this path for a reason because now my operational skill set is going to let me take what just made me feel alive and put it out there. Yeah.
It's so fun. Man, I got chills when you said that because I'm 45 and I feel the same way. I finally found a niche that it doesn't feel like work anymore. And it just lights me up. I wanted to ask you this because it's fitting to ask you now. Any synergies between this brand and the cosmetic brand that you see that is helpful?
I think what was helpful for me is Yes. I think cosmetics, it's the same thing. It's the healthy consumer. It's what you're putting on your skin. Is what you're putting in your mouth. It's our skin is our largest organ, right? Like
Right.
besides like what's going down the hatch.
Right.
So I think that's why I followed that approach a lot as well, was these clean ingredients. And I think I took that from the cosmetic industry. And then I also saw what kind of formulations work and what doesn't, right? So blending these bourbons with these juices, it's not just throwing it in a pot and mixing it like it is in your kitchen. There was one thing for me to come up with the pink lemonade and bourbon and put it in a pitcher.
Right.
But when you're going to commercialize this formula and put it in a can, it's a whole different story.
I bet. I don't want to run out of time, but I want to spotlight that you busting your ass over the last year or so has gotten you are now now you're in the Prudential Center in Newark.
Yeah, very
right?
exciting.
With
yes.
the Devils, right?
Yep, official partner of the New York Devils. New Jersey Devils.
New Jersey. That's freaking awesome. And you're in Citi Field for the Mets.
Yeah. So you got I was mixing up my things there. Yeah. New York Mets, Citi Field, New Jersey Devils, Prudential. Very exciting. And we're also up at the track at Saratoga as well. So those are 3 very big partnerships for the brand this year.
That is freaking awesome. I mean, we need part 2 to get into those. And
it's scary.
Oh my goodness. Like, oh my God, why did I leave the last 8 minutes to bring that up? But
no, but it's important.
Yeah, no, but I want to learn more about how those transpired. I think a lot of people would want to know, like, how those are some big moves.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think this falls into the whole marketing conversation, which you like too, right? It's, as a brand, you have to put your marketing dollars somewhere. And in a market like alcohol, which, as you said, is going down in some ways, canned cocktails are going up in another way. It's getting the message out there, right? So do we modernize and do, old school marketing, right? You're going to pay for these billboards. You're going in here. You're trying to do this, trying to do that. Or am I getting liquid to lips to as many people as possible, right? And that's the way I looked at it. I'm like, if I'm doing something different and I have a limited runway, something brand new that doesn't exist right now, I'm trying to make, crushable bourbon cocktails put it out there. What do I do? So I decided to go sit down with some of the biggest venues in the tri-state area. Again, knock, knock on the door, which many people probably don't go up and knock on the Prudential door, right? Got a meeting, sat down with, the marketing partnership teams, the food and beverage. It's like an interview. You don't get the job after one sit down. You're going through about 15 calls, 15 sit downs, multiple tastings. And when they all loved it, when Prudential, brought this brand home, of course, being New Jersey born brand, it was like a natural fit. Sat down at Citi Field and they were very excited about it. Saratoga Racetrack. What it said to me is this is for everyone, right? Like if you have these major venues and partnerships believing in you, that tells me that this could make a lot of people excited when they have this can in their hand. Yeah. And it's also what I noticed was different is when you walk into these facilities, what's your drink choice? What is it?
Beer.
Yeah. And what else? There's a couple other canned drinks out there, but there's no bourbon, right?
No, that's
you may
for
be
sure.
grabbing a White Claw.
Oh, right.
Like,
White Claw or like a Cutwater or something.
Or Surfside or something,
whatever.
right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Amazing drinks.
Right.
But what's missing? The bourbon.
Oh, for sure.
Cocktail.
Yeah, no, that's definitely.
So again, this is doing what I want to do. It's taking bourbon out of this exclusive club, this one type of person, right?
Yep.
Now we're making it about community. We're making Suburban Life is inclusive. We're trying to bring people into a category versus just saying one group belongs here, right? It's giving bourbon drinkers a drink. It's bringing more females into the category. It's bringing the younger generation in. It's making bourbon daytime fun, crushable. And these venues who normally, a lot of these games are 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's a long period of time. Yeah. if you're drinking straight bourbon at these events, you're probably not leaving the parking lot, right? So what
I'm getting carried out. Yeah.
Maybe a great night, but you're probably not getting home.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do is like now at a big venue arena,
Right.
do something that bourbon has never done before.
Listen, you said something before that makes so much sense. And this, I don't want to just glaze over this either. You said, when I'm putting my marketing dollars to work, what is the quickest way I can get this drink on people's lips?
Yeah.
That to me was a major, major takeaway, because I think a lot of restaurants and a lot of folks in the hospitality, and they make it very hard. They make it difficult. They make it harder than it needs to be. And you just said, what is the quickest way I can get a lot of people drinking this right away? And that led you to these big stadiums, which is, oh God, take that as a major win today, because it's the simplicity of it all that I think we all miss. We all miss because we're so close to our business. We're so in it. And we're like, shit, maybe I need to step back a little bit and just think very simple. How do I get this in the most people's mouths? And what are those vessels? What does that vessel look like? And we live in a community that we live in an area that we have a lot of opportunity, and we don't capitalize on it so much.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's where the capital crafts, and bars and restaurants that want to work with Suburban on top of these big venues come in hand, right?
Yep.
Because do you want to see a canned drink on a billboard driving down the road? Can you taste that? Is that really going to drive your opinion of what you buy in the store?
Yep.
Or if you're at a place where you can actually sip it without investing into buying a case or a 4-pack of it,
Right.
buy one can.
Right.
Right. You want to taste it.
That's it. Bottom line. And I'm so glad I did today on the show. All right, quick couple more questions. Finish this sentence.
Oh, great.
Suburban life is for people who
care about what they put in their bodies and just want to have fun.
I love it. Finish this sentence. The best brands always
when?
I like that. I like that. Let's do another round. Let's see what else comes out of your mouth. All right. What's your go-to answer when someone says, I don't drink bourbon?
Well, you haven't tried Suburban.
Love it. What's one hill you'll die on as a founder?
Overthinking.
Interesting. I want to go so far into that and I can't. Okay. What's one thing you want your brand to stand for beyond just the drink itself?
Inclusivity.
Awesome. I like that. I feel that in the brand when I see it online. I
mean,
really feel
the tag name of the brand is Find Your People.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's all about community.
Last question. For people hearing about Suburban for the first time, which some will on the show, what do you hope they understand about what it is that you're building here?
We're building something different, something that goes against the norm, right? Introducing a new take on an old classic.
That's so good. And that was so short and sweet.
It may have been like the 5 shots of Suburban.
Jen, where can this you can tell the show got a lot more fun like the last 30.
Yeah, we should have started off like this.
We should have. I'm all giggly. Where can people learn more about Suburban Life? Tell them where to find you on Instagram and social media.
Yeah, on social media, you can find us on Instagram at Drink Suburban. Or you can go onto our website, which is suburbanlife.com, and check us out there. There's a lot of brand info if you go to either platform.
And you guys are in most liquor stores around the area?
Yeah, especially Jersey. So we're in New Jersey. That's probably where we're in the most, right? Because this is where I launched it in my backyard.
Love it.
So we're probably in 300 plus liquor stores in New Jersey. We're also launched New York last summer. Just launched Florida in February. So
awesome.
But you can buy direct if you're not in New Jersey, New York, or Florida. You can buy direct off of our website, suburbanlife.com.
Yes.
We're also offered on tipsy.com, or just get in your car and go to the liquor store. It's there. It's there. It's within a mile of your house.
Jen, what a blast. I'm so happy that this was our first.
Yeah.
See, I told you I wasn't going to bite, but such a pleasure having you. This was such a great conversation. First tasting. It was great. First tasting. So I'm going to do more of these. That's for sure. Definitely. But so much luck to you. You have such a great head on your shoulders, and I could tell that you're just such a genuine human being.
Oh, thank you so much.
We need more of that in the world. We really do. And I could tell this brand is going to go places, and you're putting your money where your mouth is, and you're putting it where other people's mouths are, and it's working. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. This was a phenomenal episode. Guys, go check out Suburban Life. It is probably in your local liquor store. You have to try all 5. I'm telling you, you just have to do it, because I thought I liked the favorite one, number 3. And I realized that number 5 was just as good as number 1. So go check it out. Suburban Life. She told you where to find them online. Hope you appreciated and liked this episode. Yeah, we got a little giddy after that. These shots started to catch up to us a little bit. But if you got some value out of the show, make sure you share it. Make sure you like it. Leave a review, because it does help quite a bit get the show out there more to newer viewers, and share it with somebody that you think would get value out of this. Great conversation with Jen today. Hope you enjoyed it. Have an amazing day. We'll catch you on the next one real soon. Take care.